So we're live on Morgan and Lekgetho Mogagabe. Today we have a Dr. David Molapo in security, leaders and micromanagement, pride. Hold leaders and their teams back. Leadership is influence. No one gives 100% to a leader who does not care about them. People work hard to repay their leadership rewards them. Everyone can be a leader, but some people have a great natural talent for it. You can have a talent, but if you don't have a teachable spirit, it's meaningless. Today we have a Dr. David Molapo. Dr. David Molapo, welcome to Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe Talk Show.
Well, thanks so much. I call it MLM show, Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe, the MLM show. Thank you so much for having me here today, and I hope I will be able to share some words of wisdom and some life experience nuggets, particularly in the area of leadership. Thank you so much. And to you and to those who are listening, to those who are watching, Rea leboga. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So relationship ya kale Dr. David Molapo isimolotse ka 1995 ka kwa sekolo sa rona se bitswang Skanontswana ka kwa Soweto mme ba ile ba re isa ka go re tlo kgona go kopana le my leader Dr. David Molapo ke relationship ya rona ila simola mo mme ra gopola re le ka kwa radio pulpit, the station of the good news, more relationship ya rona ile ya simola teng mme Dr. David Molapo, I want to say thank you to be my mentor and my leader.
You're welcome, Tate. You've been consistent and faithful through ups and downs, and isn't that what leadership is all about? That when you go through things, you will grow through things. So I've seen you go through things, and I've seen you grow from things. So I'm proud, and here we are today, hitting the whole world with leadership. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor and a privilege. But I want to describe you more, ML Mogagabe Talk Show. I want to describe you as a generosity leader. And number 2 is humility. Number 3 is generosity and integrity. That's how I want to describe my leader, Dr. David Molapo.
Well, thanks so much for those kind words. Let's get busy.
Thank you so much. Dr. David Molapo, we really appreciate your presence, and we're so excited to have your caliber as a guest today. How does leadership work, Dr. David Molapo?
First of all, I've got in my book, I have a definition of leadership. The word leader, it means learning to earn and demonstrate exemplary respect. If you are a dynamic leader or a wannabe effective leader, you must be able to learn, to earn, to demonstrate exemplary respect. Because at the end of the day, people want a person who is real. They want authenticity. When you go through ups and downs, people need to know you're a human being. People are sick and tired of people talking about successes in leadership. But leadership, remember, it's a journey. It's an ongoing journey. My friend, Dr. John Maxwell, calls it influence. But there is no way you can influence people up until you yourself have been influenced by other people.
Dr. David Molapo, Dr. David Molapo, there are moral authority. It's not about position. It's about who you are to dissect with people. Can you just give us the moral authority before we follow positions? Authority.
Unfortunately, today in the world, we are so much big in the area of positions. I'm Dr. Molapo, I'm CEO, I'm chairman, I'm apostle, I'm bishop, I'm intercontinental pope. We are so much on this positional thing. And really, you can never influence people based on your positional authority. If you want to make an impact in the lives of people, remember I said you need to learn to earn and to demonstrate exemplary leadership. That's where LEADER, the word leader, that stands for. So for me, it's one word. You need to earn that moral authority. You just don't become a leader because of what? You must have gone through stuff. Example, I don't allow any leader to speak into my life until they've gone through something. They must earn my respect. They must earn the authority upon my life, particularly in the area of morality. Up until a person has gone through stuff where their morality is challenged, to me, they're not yet leadership material, they are fellowship material.
Dr. David Molapo is our guest. Dr. David Molapo, thank you, wonderful. Those are the nuggets of wisdom that you have enlightened today, and we really appreciate your presence, and may good Lord keep you and bless you. How to get started in leadership if I want to start in the journey of leadership?
Let's start with the acronym LEAD, lead. The L means you need to love yourself. You need E to encourage yourself. A, you need to advise yourself, to be real to yourself. And D, you need to develop yourself. That's where you start. Because there's no way you can lead people until you lead yourself. The greatest challenge in life is the ability to lead yourself. And you can only lead, L-E-A-D-L, by loving yourself, encouraging yourself, advising yourself, and developing yourself. When you have mastered that, then it is easy for you to lead other people by loving them. As a leader, you need to love the people who you are mentoring, coaching, people who are following you. They will make mistakes because remember, leadership is a process, a growth process. So you need to encourage them, to edify them, to enable and equip them. And you need to advise them. And at the end of the day, a great leader is the one that will discover people's potential, develop that potential, and deploy that potential. Come on, so among our bad thing is you don't cause people. You're there to you empower, enable so that you can deploy. So that's where you start. Start with yourself first. And then you are able to lead other people.
That was powerful. And how do I resolve conflict and leading challenging people?
That's one. Let me read from my book there, because the problem is conflict is part of life. But let me share with you, because there are a lot of crazy people that I want us to deal with, because in leadership we are scared to talk about those people. Today I want to deal with those people so that I can help somebody here. Let me show you who those people are. The first kind of people as a leader, you need to understand that people that we call narcissists. A narcissist person, their ego is inflated. They're only thinking about me, myself, and I. And as a leader, trust me, you will be those people. One of them that you know is Donald Trump, a narcissist, full of himself. They don't have empathy for everybody. The second kind of people are not only just a narcissist. The second kind of people are those that I call guilt trippers. The guilt trippers are those that want you to make guilty. You are with them, they don't appreciate what you are doing. What do? Is they want you to make sure that you feel guilty. The third kind of people are what we call the anger addicts. Who are just anointed to provoke you. Did you hear what I'm saying? As a leader, you wake up someone, you deal with these people, anger addict. They are just there to make you angry. You are their boss, you are their leader, but they have this anointing to touch the last nerve. So you've got the narcissists who are full of themselves, the guilt trippers that make you feel guilty, the anger addict, and there are more. Let me share with you the other ones. And these are people who are difficult in your life, and if you're not careful, they can derail you as a leader. So here are the other ones. The other two are the passive aggressive ones. They say yes, they smile, but they stab you in the back. How you doing? Fine, you bastard. You know, the bastard is not in their mouth, it's in their heart. They are passive, they're aggressive. Bottom line, they will sabotage you. You think you are leading them, but they are there to challenge you. And as a leader, trust me, you will have those kind of people. And then obviously you've got those that we call the gossipers. They're always there. They'll always gossip about you. So as a leader, understand these 5 people will always be there for the people that you are leading. These are what we call challenging people or different people. Your question is, how do you resolve conflict with those kind of people. There you are.
Wow.
Number one, talk to them. Remember, leadership is this: you cannot change people. The easiest way to cope with change is not to change people, but is to influence people. And you
Wow.
influence people by setting an example. If you're a narcissist, guilt trip, whatever, I don't have to waste my energy because life is too short. So, number one, talk to them. You talk to them with what? With love. Number two, focus on their behaviors, not on them, because they've got serious behaviors. That's why there is conflict, because one, their attitude stinks, so you need to deal with that behavior. Lekgetho, I love you as a leader, but your behavior stinks. Okay? Number three, identify points of agreement and disagreement. I agree with you in this area, but the conflict comes when you are hitting this other point. Because remember, you are driving to a point where there's a win-win situation. Anytime you deal with people in any relationship, husband and wife, as a leader at home, in the workplace, in the church, conflict is there. Conflict will always be there. The disciples of Jesus Christ, there were always conflict. Who's going to be the greatest? Conflict will always be there. But it is how you manage conflict that is important. So make sure that you talk to the people, deal with the behavior, not with the person. And number three, make sure you identify the agreement and disagreements, because at the end of the day, you need to isolate these things that are making you guys to a conflict. And again, conflict is there to be what? To be managed. And unfortunately, conflict is there to be resolved. But other conflicts, as I conclude, there are certain conflicts that you just agree to disagree. If I say you are wearing a blue thing, you say, no, this is dark blue. No, it's light blue. There are certain things we just agree to disagree. But as a leader, understand conflict is part of your package. You've got to deal with conflict. Don't run away from it. And number two, there will be people who are causing those conflicts, those 5 kind of people that I dealt with. So it's up to you to be sharp in finding ways to resolve the conflict. If you cannot resolve the conflict, you learn to manage the conflict.
That was sensational, Dr. David Molapo. You can tune to YouTube channel, Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe Prescope TV on Twitter. You can just tune into Facebook, Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe. Dr. David Molapo, you have touched a vital component, the nuggets of wisdom. How can let me just say, how can I? How do I transition to the different type of leadership? Because there are different type of leadership. Can you just elaborate on that?
Remember, to be a great leader, you must be a great follower. The young man that you met a couple of minutes ago, Simpiu, has got a powerful thing in the area of servant leadership. I like that question because it means you are agreeing that you have never arrived. It's all about different transitioning. David in the Bible was anointed king, but still he had to go through the different levels of leadership. If it was David Molapo, a prophet comes and anoint me. After the prophet leaves, I'll call Cyril Ramaphosa. I say, President Ramaphosa, I've just been anointed. I'm giving you 24 hours. But not David in the Bible. Even though he was anointed, he realized that there were certain things that need to be developed. Remember, great times develop confidence.
Wow.
But difficult times develop character. So David was still a young man. He needed to develop certain things. And you preachers, you mess things up. Because it's as if David never knew Saul. David knew Saul before he was even anointed. David used to play for Saul before he was even anointed as king. That is why it was easy for him to say to Saul, hey Saul, let me go and kill that guy. Saul already knew David. Check the chronology, check the chapters. Before David killed Goliath, before David went to Saul, he was already playing for Saul. So he knew that there was ways, there were other levels that he needed to grow. So if you want to be a great leader, to transition, be a great follower. You start from this level of positional leadership, then you go to permissive leadership.
Wow.
People give you permission to be their leader, by asking you questions. You realize David asked a lot of questions. But you move from positional to permissive, then you go to the third level of productive. So for you to transition to be a leader, you need to produce. That I'm not going to follow you because you are a pastor, you are a bishop, because you are paid our palaza, what no. What are you producing? What am I following? Are you fruitful? Are you productive in your stuff? And then what about relationships with other people? And then it's also transitioning. It is a process. Remember, leadership development is a process. You don't catch it just by osmosis. It's a decision you make, and every time you want to go to the next level, you find a leader who's already in that level to coach you and to mentor you. Two critical things in transition. Because if you do not find a coach, if you don't find a mentor, there's no way you can do self-transition. That's why I get nervous when I see young guys, particularly young pastors. Today they're prophets, tomorrow they're apostles, whatever, but they've never gone through steps, okay? A coach is that person who is looking at your blind spots. You cannot transition until you allow someone in your life. Where are my blind spots? In my life, in my marriage, in my relationship, in money matters, in dealing with people. Where are my blind spots? So you need a coach before you transition to say, my bro, this is your blind spot. A coach is not there with you in the ring. They look at the side, jump on the other side. They look at your blind spots. In sports, you're playing soccer. A coach will go, Mogagabe, that side, this side. They see a blind spot. But in addition to a coach, before you transition, you need a mentor. A mentor now will go into the ring with you. A mentor will now be in this field with you. A mentor is not impressed by your success. A mentor is impressed by your purpose in life. Thank God you got $1 million. Thank God your church is 50 people. What's the next step? That's what a coach is.
Amen.
So that you cannot transition until you have a coach and a mentor. But in the meantime, this is good for you when you go to that level of transition, is to develop character. And to develop character, that means you must be secure. Because next levels means next devils. Next levels means next devils, next challenges. Right now, you're dealing with $1 million things. As you transition, now you're going to deal with multi-million dollar things. As you transition, you now need to deal with $1 billion things. As you transition, multi-billion dollar things. And all those things are different. So different levels need different expertise and competence as a leader. And that is why it's important before you transition to be sure that you get permission from your coach and the mentor, because they will go with you to that next level.
Dr. David Molapo, our guest today, Dr. David Molapo, we really appreciate your presence. Dr. David Molapo, how can I succeed while I'm working under a poor leadership?
In my book, Choose to Change, I've given you some wonderful steps. Let me share those steps. Unfortunately, you will be working with people who are insecure. And I want to challenge people who are watching or who will be watching this program. There is nothing as dangerous as an insecure leader. Because when you find your niche, when you find your competence in life, you need to be cool with who you are. There will be people who are ahead of you. There'll be people who will be on either side of you. And there'll be people who will be behind you. You need to be cool with yourself. Remember, you can never improve yourself until you approve of yourself. And one way of approving yourself, you need to be secure as a leader. That security is important because there is nothing as dangerous as an insecure leader. Now, let me answer that question. Now, how do I handle that insecure leader? One, don't take their lack of confidence as a reflection on yourself. If banally issues stubborn, if they are insecure, don't let it reflect from you. Don't judge them, but do not allow their lack of confidence as a reflection on you. Number two, I have found out, and I have served under a lot of insecure leaders. I have found out that when I praise their strengths, I know they're insecure. I don't focus on their weaknesses. I praise their strengths. I elevate them. I elevate their brand. Number three, How do you handle an insecure leader? Don't allow comparisons. Why are you comparing? The Bible is clear. Don't esteem yourself higher than other people. Don't compare yourself with other people. The DNA of David Molapo, my makeup is different from yours. So if an insecure leader is busy trying to measure themselves, they're not going to succeed because they'll always fail. Here's another two. And then I'm going to give you a simple one afterwards that you will like. Pinpoint productive ways to handle their frustration. Remember, you can lead in any area. The 360-degree leader, you can lead up, down, and across. An insecure leader, how you lead them, you pinpoint ways they can be productive so that they get the glory, not you. You can do the work and say, blah, you can put your name. Here's a book. I've written the book. All you do, just put your name. That's fine. That's it. So that at least God is using you to do what? To elevate them. But here are two things that you're going to like. If you are working or you're under an insecure leader, are you ready for this and that?
Yes, I'm ready.
Change your attitude or change your address. Sooner or later, you need to leave them because you can't change them.
Yeah.
So I'll repeat. Sometimes you need to change your attitude, understand that they're insecure, work within those boundaries, but sooner or later, you're going to get frustrated. You might have changed your attitude to be positive, but there is a time when you need to say, you know what, I need to change my dress. Insecurity, other things that they have that I'm doing for them. Every time I'm trying to suggest I'm doing this, they are taking it as if it's a personal attack. They're immature. I just have to change my address. Bottom line, I need to leave them. Jesus gives us two instances. He said, one, shake the dust off your feet and move on. Another one, Jesus says, don't cast pearls unto swines. I'm not saying you're insecure is a swine, but you cannot take your valuable thing and then and their insecurity are not allowing them to see the value you are adding into their life. Sooner or later, you've done your part, you need to change your address and move on.
That's powerful. Dr. David Molapo, Dr. David Molapo, the new book, Leadership Influence. Dr. David Molapo, how can I develop leaders and how I can handle insecurity leader?
Lovely. We finished the insecurity leader. Let's do how do you develop leaders. This has been my definition for many, many years. A secure leader, are you listening to that? I'm sharing from my heart now to you. A secure leader will do a couple of things. One, they'll identify people with passion and purpose. Did you what I said?
Yes.
You're secure. So because you're secure, you're not intimidated, you're not threatened. You look for people with passion to grow, people with purpose in their life. I didn't say degrees. Degrees are coming. You know I'm an academic.
Yes.
Because some of us you can have so many degrees more than a thermometer, Marakamo, PhD, you just pass high school with difficulties. So step number one, this is important for Africa because you identify people with passion, people with purpose. Then what do you do after you've identified them? This is it. You do the 3 E's. You enable them, you empower them, you equip them with skills, so that they, your sons, your mentees, must be better than you. Then that is leadership. Because if they don't become better than you, if they don't make more money than you, if they don't grow their church better than you, then you're not a great leader.
Wow.
What did Jesus do? Jesus in 3.5 years identified people with potential, people with passion. Jesus. Fishermen, business people, whatever. What did he do? He enabled them, he equipped them, he empowered them, and then go reach the world. Jesus never reached the world. And by the way, Luna, my disciples, you are going to do greater works than this. Jesus was a secure leader. He never knew there'll be Yardstream, YouTube, whatever. I mean, imagine we are reaching the whole world sitting right there in our comfortable home. So all I'm saying is you need as a leader to come to a point where you're secured. You do your part, you back off, you pass the baton or the baton so that the next generation of leaders can learn from you and they must do better than you. If they don't do better than you, then your leadership sucks. Then you are not an effective leader. You are an ineffective leader.
Wow. Renale Dr. David Molapo just sharing the nuggets of wisdom. Dr. David Molapo, what next about Dr. David Molapo? What next about Dr. David Molapo?
Well, you know, like Aqua Fresh, 3 in 1. I like to things in 3, three in 1. Number 1, what David Molapo is doing now, we are continuing on the leadership journey. We are now into the 4th industrial revolution because we believe that leaders need to adapt. COVID has created a lot of challenges, but also a lot of opportunities. So now we have reinvented ourselves. Our company is called ICANN 4IR, ICANN 4th Industrial Revolution. And for more information, people can go to ICANN, the number 4IR.com. So that's the reinventing ourselves. We're getting into the 4th Industrial Revolution space. What does it mean? That's exactly what we're doing now, where we're now reaching the world using technology. Isn't that what Jesus said? He says, greater things than this shall you do. You'll start in Jerusalem, go to Judea, Samaria, and the uttermost part of the earth. So that's what we are doing. Number 2, we have started mentorship programs. We've got a 6-month program, a 9-month program, where twice a month we mentor upcoming leaders, sharp leaders in all areas: spiritual life, physical life, mental life, financial life, and then the rest can go on. And then the third thing is I'm launching all of our books now on audio this year, because a lot of our young people now are lazy to read. So now we're getting things to audio. And you know what? It's actually biblical, because the Bible says faith comes not by what? Not by reading. Faith comes by what? By hearing.
Definitely.
So we now need to sharpen our listening skills. So that's what's happening now. And obviously, when you go to our website, you'll see we do a lot of big events. This year, we've got a global CEOs, 67 countries will all be coming together. We've got future skills, future technologies, where we talk about careers of the future, and also effective fathering in the 4th Industrial Revolution. And then obviously the whole entrepreneurship week will continue to do that. So that's what is happening with David Molapo. Again, people can go on icantv.net. They will see our latest resources, icantv.net, or they can go to ican4ir.com to even know more stuff about what we are doing.
Dr. Molapo, before I release you right now, we really appreciate your time and your insight that you have shared with us today. We really, we're taking those notes. We have a pen and something that handy on our side. Dr. David Molapo, may you kindly share lastly the other 9 leader shifts. I think that one you have more insight about that.
Okay, I'll go to leadership number 11, what we call the passion shift. All of us as leaders, we must have leadership, meaning the shifting thing, to be sure that the passion will create a career, and that career is your calling. Number 10, it's called the impact shift. Remember, leadership is not about impressing people. Leadership is about impacting people. That's leadership number 10. Leadership number 9, it's all about the influence shift. In other words, you've said it, we move from positional authority to moral authority, where we influence people's morale. The other one is the improvement shift, which is number 8. In other words, where you need to understand that you don't only influence yourself, you influence teams. Because remember that one is too small a number to achieve greatness. And then the other one is leadership, what we call the communication shift. That as leaders, we need to be sure we are effective communicators. That's why the Bible says, Jesus says, I have been here on this world to communicate, to bring the good news. How do you bring the good news? By using this shift. The way we communicate, you don't tell, but you sell. Then the other shift that we have, let me get some of them there. The other one that we have is what we call the abundance shift. Why is it as leaders we are fighting for little crumbs? We must have the abundance mentality. Remember, we are called as leaders to create more so that all the other people can benefit. Even after Jesus fed the multitude, there was still an abundance for that little kid, an abundance for the disciple. The other one is the relational shift. I have learned in life that God is a God of relationships. You don't need money, you need relationships. The relationship, if you invest them well, they will bring the money. Another one is the personal development shift. That as a leader, never come to a point where you have arrived, because if you are not growing, you are dying. Always challenge yourself to personally develop in many areas in your life. And then the focus shift, finally. The focus shift is this: don't be distracted by a lot of other things. Maintain focus. Focus. This one thing I know. Jesus says, I came just for one thing, to seek and to save those that are lost. Paul says, I leave all these things behind, but this one thing I know. What is your one thing as a leader? And that one thing will leave a legacy, not a vacancy. That one thing will leave a footprint, not a bum print. So I pray that today we make a decision that as leaders, we strive to leave a legacy for ourselves, for the next generation. I can do my part, you can do your part. Together, let's continue to grow as leaders and make an impact in this generation. God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. David Molapo. We really appreciate your time. I know you are in the session as we speak right now. Thank you. Pass my greetings to the students, the men. I believe as a mentor, you have just give us more aspect of leadership. We really appreciate you, and we're looking forward to have you as a guest very soon.
Thank you so much, and continue the great work. God bless.
Thank you so much. Have a pleasant day. Mothoetso re lebogile e ne le Dr. David Molapo. Re utlwile Mothoetso gore o gopole Dr. Molapo is one of the mentor and speaker, business leaders around the globe, and author. Me o berekile thata segolobeno our guest ka moso Mothoetso se le 12 o'clock re na le Dr. Tumi. Dr. Tumi gona moshong ye ya ke bua ka Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe talk show. Dr. Tumi o tla ba le teng ka kwana Mothoetso re tla be le ena ka re bana Mothoetso re utlwa gore re utlwa jwang gore go tsamaya mo ke bua ka talk show ya gago Mothoetso. Dr. Tumi o tla ba le teng ka kwano e la bogile o utlwile Mothoetso ba bitse Mothoetso gore ka kwano re tsamaya jang mo tlhoganyo ya gago ya mo Lekgetho Mogagabe talk show. Me e tla re mona go se fitse pelo ke tla be sense ke thank you so much for coming our way. We don't take it lightly for your presence. We really thank God for your presence and your caliber. We don't take it lightly. Yes. Facebook live, then or more YouTube live, or how about more on Facebook live we can Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe, then o gono go mo YouTube ya gago krea mo yone e leng YouTube le Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe channel, then o krea mo Scope TV ya Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe krea mo Twitter Mothoetso gono go krea le fatse lotlhe ka bophara ka tata modimo Mothoetso. Thank you so much for coming away. My name is Morgan Lekgetho Mogagabe, your host. Thank you so much. May good Lord keep you and bless you. But tomorrow Mothoetso re na le Dr. Tumi ka 12 o'clock. Tshawalogo ka rest go mo matlogo 12 o'clock Mothoetso. So ke lebogile go tswa go nna diphaposi tsa gaso ka kwano mo go leng teng mo Johannesburg. Ai papatwe ka Mothoetso.